Hey girl, what you doing? Listening to the Be Everything and More podcast, baby. Let's fucking go. Welcome to the first episode of the Be Everything and More podcast. Oh my gosh, I am your host, Caitlin. If this is your first time ever seeing me on a podcast, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And if you are a repeat offender and you've been sticking around since we were on the Beam Life podcast, Goal Slayer podcast, welcome back. I'm so honored that you are back here in the community, and no one is happier to be here than me. I love podcasting more than anything, and taking the break for, I think now it's going on 6 months or so. Taking this break from Goal Slayer has felt like eternity. So I want to talk a little bit about what this whole new show is going to be about, why the whole rebrand, and why it's going to be worth your time to tune in every single week. If you know me at all, you know that I don't do basic. If you couldn't tell, your girl likes a little bit of a party. I love to have fun. I love to also be a little serious and get down to business. And more important than anything, I love to watch you beam and thrive and live the fuck out of your dreams. So that is really what we're going to be doing here. So let me break it all down. First of all, why the rebrand, right? And I think this is a great question because if you're tuning in, you're probably a female founder, female entrepreneur, and you might even be thinking about a rebrand yourself. It's a big decision and it can feel overwhelming. And I'm not going to lie, it has felt really overwhelming. But why did I decide to do it? A couple of things. One, I just really have felt a calling to really speak to the female entrepreneurs, female founders. I specifically really love working with female entrepreneurs. It's a different breed of people. I also really recognize that the female entrepreneurs that I work with, they are moms, juggling 9-to-5s, have tons of responsibilities. And while the business is at the front of our mind, it seems like the last thing that ever gets touched if we get to it. That's just not acceptable. We are not accepting that your dreams get to be at the bottom of the to-do list on this show. And to be honest, it takes a little bit of just rearranging to start to move your priorities up and up and up the list until it becomes number one. That was part one of the rebrand. Is I was like, I really want to say out loud, because I was nervous. I was honestly like, are people not going to like that I'm shifting to entrepreneurship or talking about business? And so I had to get over that first. So that's number one. Number two, there were other things in my business that I needed to figure out first. And then number three, this was the biggest one, is I have always had some kind of coach or mentor. And my first podcast was The Beam Life, which, if you don't know, stands for Be Everything and More. And I loved The Beam Life, and The Beam Life did great. It was my first baby. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready for a level up. We're going to redo this podcast. We're going to come out swinging. And it felt right for that period in my life. And so out came Goal Slayer. But here's the thing. I had a couple of coaches and mentors tell me, like, you can't name your podcast The Beam Life or Be Everything and More because it's not searchable. Okay? No one's going to find you. And I listened to that advice, and actually that advice makes sense, right? It's strategic. It's logic. But I'm not searchable. Right? I am not a searchable person, and I'm willing to bet if you're listening to this, maybe you aren't either. And so when we listen to advice, we have to learn how to say, okay, does that advice apply to me? Or does it not feel right in my body? And it really, like I said, it felt right for the season, but not 100%. And so every time I showed up for Goal Slayer, I just felt like it was missing. Felt really disconnected from everything I had built over at the Beam Life. And part of the strategy I teach, which is like the you, the her behind the brand is everything has to feel embodied. If you are not feeling embodied in your work and like it is everything you just want to eat, sleep, and breathe, it's going to be really hard to keep doing it every single day. So little by little, Goal Slayer, even though the stats were showing we've got listeners, people are tuning in, I was getting DMs, I love this content, like I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. I had to listen. I took a pause. And honestly, it freed up a lot of space too. It freed up space in my schedule. It freed up space in my creativity. And it allowed me to do things that were really a priority at a time, which was like being there intensely for my daughter, who, as the show goes on, I will be talking more and more about. But I like to say she's a little neurospicy and really needed some deep, devoted mom attention. And so it was a season in my life where I was like, all right, podcast is going to go on hold, and I'm going to go pretty hard into behind the scenes stuff and into family life, motherhood, and kind of getting back to my roots of why did I start this business? Let me share, I think, a little bit about that. That feels like a good next place that I want to take you on this journey is why be everything and more? Like, where did that even come from? Why is that something that I am like tripling down on at this moment in time? Be Everything and More was the original name of this business when I thought of it 6 years ago. It came to me because I'm like, you know what? At the time, I was married. I owned a gym. I was a mom to a 3-year-old, and everything on the outside looked really like picture perfect. Inside, it was just like, I don't know what's wrong because you should be happy. You've got everything that you're supposed to be happy with. And I just felt stunted. And I don't put that responsibility on anyone but myself, which is why I ultimately decided that that relationship was not for me and the life that I was living was not for me. And I said, I got to peace out. Like this is not going to work for me anymore. I started to think about what was it that made me feel disconnected? Why did I get stuck like that? I've always been an ambitious person. I've always been really driven. I've always been the gal that wants to ask for forgiveness later, right? And so how did I find myself in this marriage, in this situation where I felt stuck? Like that just is not Caitlin. So where did that all come from? And it came a lot from number one, age. I was in my young 30s and I had a lot of friends at the time who were getting married and they were settling down. So I was like, oh, maybe this is my time. And then also I think society puts, I know society puts a lot of expectations on us and timers and all of those things. I take responsibility for kind of following a straight and narrow path when I've never done that in my life. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do the things. And I was like, you know what? I'm actually allowed, even though I'm a mom and even though I have responsibilities and I'm a business owner and all these things, I'm allowed to want more. I'm still allowed to have my identity as me, Caitlin, without all of those fucking roles that feel like bowling balls that we're carrying around all the time, right? Like I am still allowed to have that, and so are you. And so that is what the show is truly going to just hammer down week after week, is that even though you've got all of these things, you and your dreams and the things that you want and your identity and the things that bring you joy matter. And you can be everything and more. You can literally be everything and more. It is not just a cutesy little saying. I wholeheartedly believe that it is a mantra. It is an operating system. As I start to kind of unfold week after week, more and more what Be Everything and More actually can look like for you, I think you will start to see that this can can actually work for you too, even with all the things. Because I already know what's going through your mind. You might be thinking, easy for you to say, you've got a studio, you've got your business going, you've got it figured out, like you're already, a few years down the road, and I am just getting started, or I only have one or two clients, or I could never do a podcast. No one would want to listen to me, or I couldn't possibly do that with having a full-time job and, two kids and all of the things and their sports schedules and also being married and in a relationship. Like, listen, babe, I hear you. You can tell me all the excuses that you want, but until you decide that you want this more than anything, it's not going to happen. But once you make that decision, I'm your ride or die. I got you. Like, I got you. And every single week, we're going to be coming here and talking about how you actually do those things, A, and B, I'm going to uncomfortably peel back the layers and share with you things about my journey that are embarrassing, kind of suck. I've got a lot of shame about things that were really exciting and that I'm really proud of. But I really want to pull back the curtain because we do not need another, motivational podcast. We don't need another fucking business podcast. You don't need a fucking another how to do XYZ show. And that is not what this is. This is anything but that. This is the show that is going to get to the core. Like, I'm talking about deep core. And we are going to really start to see ourselves, love ourselves, and boost ourselves into this next chapter, arm in arm together, because nothing kills your dreams more than isolation. That's the other thing that we do here at The Beam Life and on Be Everything and More is we go hard on community and in-person experiences, which is why this show is now moving to in-person only. Every guest that comes on the show is going to be here in studio because I believe just so deeply that conversations can really happen and transformation can happen when we get in the room together. So you can expect not only really transparent conversations coming every single week, but also guests who are literally like leaving their houses, because this is not on Zoom, leaving their houses, coming to studio, bringing their full selves to you. And also lots of opportunity outside of the podcast to be in community, to connect, and to really find like-minded women to build your dream life. So that's what we're doing here. And I could not be more excited. This really feels like a dream come true. Had you told me 6 years ago that this would evolve into what it is now, I can't say that I wouldn't believe you because I pretty much am in the camp that anything you believe you will make happen. And that has shown itself to be true, not always in the timeline. Damn, I wish I could do that. But it does manifest. So I can't say that I wouldn't have believed you, but I wouldn't have thought it would be here now. And that's the other thing I want to remind you is we don't have control over the timeline, but you do have control over showing up as her right now. So if there's anything I could add to the end of Be Everything and More, I would say be everything and more now. Be her now. So welcome. I'm so happy you're here. You better buckle the fuck up because we are not messing around. And it is going to be the show that you look forward to every single week. If you liked this first episode, I would be so honored if you would like, subscribe, share, comment, all of the things, because that is how you help shows like this, shows that really want to make an impact, grow. I'm so thankful. I love you. I'll see you back here next week.